Hello, everyone. Trust you well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. Another session, leadership talk with Adegoke, the 52nd, yes, 52nd episode of leadership talk with Adegoke. I have an amazing woman from the United States of America, from Texas, and she's going to be adding so much value. This session is on leadership and legacy. What is your legacy? What's going to be your legacy? What are you going to be leaving behind? So Laquita Monley is on this session, and she's going to be adding value. Welcome, my friend. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, sir. I am doing well. It's blessed. I'm blessed. I am blessed. So excited to be here. Definitely appreciate you having me on. And I'm just excited about this topic. I'm excited about this topic and the conversation we're going to have.
Excellent. How's the weather? How's the weather down there? Is it 100 or it's pretty cool?
It's cool today. Today. And I say today because it was not cool on yesterday.
No, I know, I know, I
We're
know.
going through a bit of a shift. I think fall is trying to find us a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the weather's great today. It's comfortable. We're not in 100-degree weather like we were last week and earlier this week. So, it's a good day.
Excellent, excellent. I love your city. It's a great city, and I believe that for those of you that live there, you enjoy it so much. But some of us will just visit us. We just come in, pop in and out. So good to have you on the platform. Now,
Thank you.
can you tell us about yourself, Laquita?
Oh, let's see. Let me just start with the things that I find that I value most about me. I
All right.
am a military wife. I've been married for 25 years. I'm a
Awesome.
mother of five adult children. I'm a grandmother of five beautiful grandchildren. I'm a minister of God. And those are the things that bring the greatest value to my life. Now, the things that I'm passionate about, and I understand that it's my purpose to be able to help people find their positions of courage, destiny, and power. I'm able
Good.
to do that as a John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, facilitator, um, as well as through different mastermind programs. So, and
Excellent.
I am a published author. So, that's just a little bit about me. But like I said, being a wife, a mom, and a grandmother, those are the things that bring me joy.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So we belong to the same team, awesome team, John Maxwell certified coaches.
Amen.
Um,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, so good, so good. I've been on the platform for 5 years, certified for 5 years, and 7 years, since I joined. But it's been amazing. You're welcome,
Yeah,
my friend.
yes.
Now,
Thank you.
can you tell us what's your definition? What do you think about leadership?
That's good. That's good. So for me, I think I'd have to refer to one of the best definitions that I've seen for leadership outside of John's definition would have
Yeah,
to be from Dr. Miles Monroe.
yeah.
Leaders,
Wow, wow.
leaders are influencers.
Hmm,
Everybody is a leader in their own right in some capacity. And the
hmm.
question is, what type of influence are you having? Is it a positive influence? Is it a negative influence? Are you influencing others to reach their greatest potential? And so, a leader is one who uses their influence well. They use their influence to
Okay.
produce fruit in others.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Leadership. Leadership.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Leadership is so deep. Like I shared with you earlier. It's not an area for entertainers. It's
No,
it's deep stuff. And I just want to salute you for being uh, on that journey, because leadership, the journey of leadership is a continue. It's not a sprint.
no,
It's a marathon.
it is. It
Okay.
is.
So how about legacy? What is legacy?
Ah. you know, you know, the, the scriptures tell us that we are to leave a legacy for our children, right? And I'm just going to paraphrase a little bit there. We are to
Okay.
leave something for them. And so, what is my legacy? My legacy is what I am known for, whether
Hmm.
I'm in the room or outside of the room, the conversations that people are having about me, uh,
That's right.
the fruit that I've produced, you
Hmm.
know, what is that? That's my legacy. I know a lot of times we think of legacy and we just think about our children, our grandchildren, our next generation, and that is a legacy, right? That is definitely a legacy. And
Yeah.
where are you leading them? How are you
So.
guiding them? How are you directing them? But to me, legacy is so much more.
Hmm.
Legacy is what you will be known for to all those who are connected to you in
Hmm.
some capacity.
Hmm.
Is your legacy, will your name be known for
Hmm.
greatness and how you inspire greatness in others, or will your name be known for mediocrity and
Wow.
just frivolous things and stuff? And no, legacy is something that should remain. Like I use Dr. Miles Monroe for an example. His legacy
Yeah.
is astounding.
Yeah. It is.
It's astounding. John Maxwell's legacy is astounding. So many
It
great
is.
men and women that we can talk about that
Hmm.
far they have gone on to be with the Lord, but their
Hmm.
legacy, their teachings, what they stand for, it is still here and it shall remain.
Hmm. 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 It's so good. So good to know. So good to know. Legacy is so powerful, but it's a lot of hard work, if you want to follow that path of
Yes,
building a legacy, selfless service
yes,
to humanity, to people, to friends and loved ones, and extending yourself beyond um, your comfort zone. John will say,
absolutely.
for you to become a person of influence, you need to move from your comfort zone to your strength zone.
To your strength,
A
yes.
lot of pressure stretches you beyond the average. Now, can you just tell us how can you build a powerful legacy? What are the steps, that you can follow?
So the first step is in order to build something.
Yeah,
It's like I'll use this as an example. If you are a carpenter or a mechanic, you
yeah,
had to recognize that at some point in your life that this is what I want to be. So the
mm,
first thing is, do you know who you are?
mm,
Do you understand your identity? And when you're understanding your identity, um, then I know who I am and whose I am. The next thing is my purpose.
mm.
I've locked into my purpose. I've locked
Wow,
into my purpose. I've clearly defined my core values as an individual. And you're saying, Laquita, you're still talking about you a lot. It's a process, right?
that's
Because
right.
I cannot begin to establish legacy if I don't know who I am. Because
Mm,
then what am I leaving? I'm
mm,
leaving uncertainty. So once you are fully solid on who you are, whose you are, you've defined your core values, you understand your purpose, and you're passionately pursuing that purpose. That is for me the building blocks, the foundations that is necessary to begin to build a powerful legacy. Because as you're running that marathon, it is a race, but as you're running that marathon and you've
okay,
mapped out that plan, when the
that's right.
obstacles arise, you won't be detoured by the obstacles because
Yeah,
you have a plan, you have a word, you know where you're going, you know who
wow,
you are, you understand how to use the tools that have been given to you to be
wow.
successful in this journey. And
Mm,
while you're doing that, you are people oriented, right? Because it's all about people. Who am
no,
I
I
called
mean,
to influence? Who am I called to impact? Who are the
mm,
people that are going to be with me on this journey? And as you're learning and growing, you are in turn teaching others, those in your family, those in your immediate friend circle. And as you stretch and grow outside of that,
wow,
the people that you're going to impact on a
that's
local
right.
level, a state, national, global level, all of
Mm,
those things are pieces in the process. But it
wow.
has to begin with you knowing who you are.
Mm, wow. So that's the first.
That's the first.
Okay, so we'll go back to that shortly. Now, what's the relationship between leadership and legacy?
That good, Chris. Great question. So that relationship between leadership and legacy is as we're developing, they go together. They synergistically work together. You can't. It's like having a piece of fabric, and you
Okay.
tear that little thread off, and it just unravels the whole fabric. They're interwoven together. Um,
Wow.
my legacy is who I am.
Hmm.
Your
Hmm.
legacy is who you are. And
Wow.
who I am is, as I said at the beginning, I believe that every individual that walks the face of the earth
Yeah.
has leadership capability in
That's
some
right.
capacity. So, my legacy and my ability to be a faithful, dedicated uh, leader that empowers others is
Yes.
directly connected to my legacy. That is the legacy that I'll leave, is
Wow.
my ability to operate fully in my purpose and to influence others.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, if you just join us or you watching the replay or listening to the replay, on this session, we're looking at leadership and legacy. And I have with me Laquita Monley from Dallas, that's in Texas. She's showing up on this session and adding great value. Thank you so much, my friend.
Well,
Now,
thank
I
you
want
so
to go
much.
back to how to build your legacy. You know, you talked about finding out who you are, you know, your
Mhm.
purpose. Then what's the next step? How to build
Pursue.
a great legacy.
It's then the next step is to pursue it. It's to pursue
Wow.
it with passion. You've identified these things, and
Yeah.
when you're identifying these things, it's important that we're journaling. It's important that we're investing into
Okay.
ourselves, right? And investing into others. So those it's important that we're connecting ourselves with other individuals who can help us grow. And as that is happening, just like when you and I connected with the John Maxwell team, we connected with the John Maxwell team for a reason, to
Yeah.
grow as leaders. And
Yes. Right.
and we wanted to grow as leaders because it's imperative,
Yeah.
because it's connected to our legacy. So as
Yeah.
I'm growing and I'm identifying people who can
Hmm.
help me on this journey, who are where I want to be, who,
Hmm.
whether it's in family, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in business, whatever you're doing, entrepreneurial, whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, you've identified those individuals that have achieved the mark that you yet
That's right.
need to achieve.
Yeah.
And once you've identified with them, you've positioned yourself to be able to receive instruction and wisdom from them so that you can then, in turn, give that same instruction and wisdom to the
Yeah.
people who are following you. Why? Because you're building your
Excellent.
legacy. You're building
Excellent.
your legacy. It's a process.
Excellent. You know, I just want to speak to this again. You know, the difference between success and significance. Can you
Yeah.
just speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. So, the those that follow me in my audience understand that when I tell them to define their why and what success means to them,
Mm.
success, if we're just looking at it from what culture says, it's all
Yeah.
about the acquiring of things and stuff. It's all about acquiring the money. You're
Hmm.
chasing after the finance, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But significant means I am adding value. My
Wow.
goal is, as others have added value to me to build me to where I am, I need to pay that forward by
Hmm.
adding value to everyone that I come in connection with, even those who are leading me. The
Yeah.
question is, how can I add value to them?
Good.
That, I'm receiving from them, but the relationships are reciprocal. So as
That's
they're
right.
pouring into me, it has to be something in me that can
Hmm.
add some value to them, and
Yeah.
definitely adding value to those that are in my peer group, as well as, again, those that are following me. It's all about adding value. If you're only chasing things and stuff, you don't think about adding value to people. You're only concerned about who can add value to you,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that will be very limited. That
Wow.
success journey will be very, very limited.
Wow. Wow. Now, what's the cost? What's the cost of trying to build a legacy? What does it cost you?
Your life.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And it literally does, and it's not in a bad way, because you know who I was when I began this journey is not who I am now, and that's not a bad thing. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying I was a bad person then, but I was not living to my fullest potential. It's like a child, right? When I was a
Yeah.
child, I spoke as a child, I acted as a child, I behaved as a child,
Hmm.
but the inheritance of my father was still mine, but I didn't know what to do with it.
Hmm.
But when I matured, why? Because I was following a growth process.
Hmm.
I mapped out a growth journey.
Hmm.
And as I pursued that journey and I achieved those milestones, I
Yeah.
went from being a child to an adult.
Another. Yeah.
And now I'm an adult. And as an adult, I can fully understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, and I'm different. I'm a different individual, and that's great. So it cost me my life, right?
Wow.
It
Wow. So
cost me my life, but it's a
it's
good
really
thing.
going to cost you something huge.
Absolutely. You
Wow.
in order to develop as a leader and in order to build a legacy, you have to be open to change.
Wow.
Consistent
That's right.
positive changes.
That's
If
right.
you're one that rejects change, or if you're one that sees change in a negative way, then your growth will be stunted. Again, I'm
Wow.
not saying you won't achieve a level of success,
Wow.
but you'll cap yourself off.
Wow. So you need to break.
You want to break free from that. You don't want to put that cap like it's done. I'm done. I'm as great as I could ever be. No,
Keep
you're not.
pushing.
Keep pushing
Wow.
because there's
Wow.
always new levels. There's
Wow.
always a different
That's
level of
that's
greatness.
that's what I want to hear. Always new levels. You heard it
Always.
from the lady, Laquita Monley. I'm just so proud of you at what you're doing and what you stand for,
Thank you. Thank
and you're
you.
showing up globally. Our listeners all over the world, I'm sure they're going to really value this moment in time where you're sharing nuggets on how to build an enduring legacy. Now,
Thank you.
from my own perspective, when I talk about the cost, it's going to cost you to build a legacy. It's going to cost you your time. It's
Hmm.
going to cost you your money. It's going
Hmm.
to cost you your friends. It's going to
Yes.
cost you, so much. Because once you stand out and
Hmm.
you decide that this is what you want to do, you're going to get some resistance. It's not going to be a walk in the park, and that's the game changer. Because for some
Hmm.
people, they believe that once you want to build a legacy, it's a popular sport. It's not.
Not at
It's not,
all.
because sometimes you also question yourself
Mm.
as, is this really worth it?
Yes.
We've been trying to add value globally. This is the 52nd episode of Leadership Talk with Adegoke, and it's cost us time, it's
Hmm.
cost us energy, it's cost us resources, it's cost us so much. But we believe that this is the way to go.
Hmm.
This is the only way to go, and I'm thankful to God, and that's why you are also showing up alongside with me, because the message is reaching out, you know, all across the world, and people that are connected to that space, they also want to be part of the journey. So I celebrate you as well.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
Now, building a legacy. I mean, can you speak to share some of your own experience? What it's cost you.
It
Just
cost me everything that you just said.
wow,
It
wow,
cost me everything that you just said because it's true. When so one of the first things that it cost us was a dear friendship, right?
wow,
We
wow.
began our journey with a choice. My husband and I met when we were in high school. Um,
That's right.
I was 15, he was 17, and
Wow,
um, we made a dumb decision. And I ended up being a teenage mom, and he ended up being a teenage dad.
wow.
You know, but we we thank God for firm foundations, and we thank God for parents, who are solid in their faith in God and how they developed us, right? And
Hmm.
so it was time for my husband to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
You know, he did a thing that required manhood, and so he made a decision and said, "Okay, I'm going to
It's
join the
going to take
United States Army."
responsibility. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be
yes,
responsible. Yeah,
I'm going to join the United States Army. Yes, university was where I'm supposed to be headed to now.
yeah.
So I'm going to have to figure out how to go to university and be a soldier because now I have a child on the way and a young
You
woman
got
that
to
I'm going
pay
to marry.
bills. Yeah.
Yes. And so that was the first lesson that we learned, where when that decision was made, it cost us some friends. People who have
Wow.
been friends in our life for a long time, that when we he made that decision and he told me about it and I came into agreement with that decision, it was like, wow, where are you going? This gentleman was supposed to be his best friend, you know.
Hmm.
So it cost us the friends,
Hmm.
as life went on, and we continue to say, okay, we're going to have to figure out how to keep growing. It cost
Yeah.
us more friends. It cost us more time,
Wow.
right? It cost us energy, sleepless nights. It
Hmm.
cost us time in prayer. It cost
Hmm.
us sacrificing what the world said you should do in order to pursue success
Yeah.
versus what it really cost us,
Hmm.
um, to pursue success and to come out as leaders, because now we're parents. And so, you know, you one kid comes, the second kid comes, the third kid comes, the fourth kid comes, right? The fifth
Wow.
kid comes, and
Wow.
it's that challenge because we're leaders. What are we doing? We would the the programs that we would find to help us grow as parents, to help us grow as people, personal growth and development, programs to help us develop as entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
that cost us money. And
Hmm.
again, along the way, it cost us friends. I want to say that's probably going to be one of the biggest emotional costs, because
Hmm.
everyone who says that they are your friend are not your friends, right? They're not your enemies, but they're not your friends.
It has to be tested.
Yes, they have to go through that fire too. They're actually acquaintances. And one of the things that we learn through that is how to properly position people in our life.
Hmm.
Who's adding what value where? And learning that only certain people needed that intimate access to our lives
That's right.
because they were part of that growth journey.
Hmm.
It cost us some things, and where we were in 1992 versus where we are now in 2021,
Wow.
everything that you said, sir. We've lost friends along the way. We've invested a lot of money along the way. We've
Wow.
invested a lot of time along the way. We've
Well
invested a
done.
lot of prayer along the way. You know,
Wow.
it does. As I said, it cost us our life.
Wow.
Ever
There's
changing.
there's a friend of mine who's on a platform, is also a JMTer. His name is Odemi Olaiwole. He's also just came back from IMC.
Ah, okay.
Is yeah, is on the pack, on the presidential advisory committee, so he's
Awesome.
is is doing
Awesome.
amazing. Yes, you're welcome, my friend. Uh, yeah. So we have some GMTs also dropping in, just to yeah, yeah. So Laquita Monley is from Dallas, Texas, and she's adding value of leadership and legacy.
Mm,
So Laquita, I just want you to share, you talked about relationship between legacy and
mhm,
leadership. You talked about, your journey, and I just want you to speak to someone out there.
mhm.
I want to speak to someone out there, who is like thinking, is it really worth building a legacy or following that path? Can you speak to someone out there?
It's absolutely worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I think it's required.
Wow.
I think it's required. It's absolutely worth it. As I look back, over my life, and I just have to look into my own home first of all, because that's where we get to practice these leadership principles first, and see the impact that it's had on our children, and the
Wow.
impact that it's had, and now what they are teaching our grandchildren. That in and of itself was enough to say everything was worth it. But
Hmm.
when I look across the lives of the people who've been connected to us in some way over the years,
Over the
and you
years, yeah.
you know where they've started
Wow.
and you see where they are, oh,
And
it's
you see
worth
the
it.
impact. Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
the impact, that's the biggest thing. You've heard it said so many times, as an entrepreneur or one that's building and leading others,
Yeah.
is this something that you would do and do it for free? Because the
Hmm.
joy that you have is in
Yeah.
the process, is in doing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. When you're building legacy, it yes, if your job or your business revolves around coaching and leading others, it's an income earner for sure. But the joy that you receive, the payment, the real payment is the lives changed. And yes, it's worth it. It's
That's
absolutely
right.
worth it. That's the currency right there is the lives
Thank you.
change. Yeah.
Thank you for speaking to that. Yeah, it's about changing lives. It's not really
Yeah.
about the cash,
Yeah.
because those things, anyone can make money. But
Yeah.
in terms of, and that's what distinguishes us when you look at success and significance. You are in a
Mhm.
place of significance. You're showing up. You're a mother. You're a pastor's wife. You're an entrepreneur. You're a minister of God. Your grandmother. Just your life is just shining in all directions, and I just want to celebrate you, for that, because
Thank you.
some people think it's not really worth it, when you talk about legacy, that
Mm.
people don't really appreciate what you put in sometimes. No thank you, and you feel a bit discouraged. How do you overcome that discouragement, particularly when you don't get validation for good stuff they put in out?
Then I have to check my motive. That's the first
Hmm.
thing I do. I check my motive. Um, why was, what I was trying to do or build or give to that particular individual or organization, um, what was the reason? you know and if the motive comes back to me as one that was not wrapped in adding value, then
Yeah.
that's why I feel the way that I feel, because
Wow.
I know who I am and I know the
Hmm.
value that I bring to the table for people
That's
and
it.
organizations. So
Wow.
that them rejecting me doesn't take anything away from who I am and the value that I bring, so I have to check my
Right.
motive.
That's
um
right.
and the second thing is, if it's okay, if I'm saying, okay, my motive is good, where in me, why is it hard for me to shake that? Then I have to encourage myself.
That's right.
I have to encourage myself. I have to
David
say,
encouraged himself in the Lord.
yes, there you go. I have to encourage myself in the Lord, because the rejection is a part of the process. It's for
Wow.
your making, right? It's actually for your making. A lot of
Wow.
it is, because
All things work together for good.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's good. It's good you're saying that. It's also good to hear that from a fellow leadership coach, because sometimes it could be a lonely walk. You
Yeah,
know, like I said, earlier before we came on, that leadership is not really entertainment. It's hard
no,
work.
it is.
It's hard work, and you keep pushing and breaking new grounds. And I'm just so thankful that you're speaking to this. So even as we wrap up, I want you to let us know, you have mentors.
I do. I do.
Who are they? Who
I
are
do. I do. The one of my the greatest mentors in my life um has been my grandmother. Yeah.
Wow.
I have to start there, because it starts at home, right? Um, from my grandmother and my parents, and then my spiritual parents, my spiritual mom, Pastor Danielle Grace, her and her husband, Apostle Gio Grace, are the founders and visionaries of Balanced Believers Ministries in Central Texas. Added so much value to me and my husband's life at a very significant time, that I can honestly say, had the Lord not positioned them when they did, you and I
Things would have
probably
turned
would not
out.
be having this conversation today.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and it is actually through their leadership, through their guidance, through their mentorship, that we even discovered John Maxwell,
Wow.
to even begin
Wow.
to be interested to move in that journey and understanding what you said, that place of significance, and adding
Yeah.
value to people and ministry, just so many different things. And so I would leave it there. I could give you a long list, but the people
I
who have
know.
had the
I know.
greatest impact,
Yeah.
I would have to
Holy
say right
Spirit.
there. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, uh, what would you like to say in 30 seconds? That you think. Um, then I'm going to ask you. How the audience can reach out to you, your platforms, social media. But what would you like to say in 30 seconds that you believe that you need to say on this platform?
I would like to say that know your individual position of courage, destiny, and power. And if you
Wow.
don't know that, you need to be able to connect with someone
Yeah.
that can help you in that journey,
Find it.
because
Yeah.
that's your breakthrough moment. That's
Wow.
the start of you building leadership and legacy.
Wow. Wow. You've heard it from the lady, the leadership coach, the grandmother, the mother, the entrepreneur, the podcaster, wearing so many hats, Laquita Monley. She said it all. So Laquita, if our listeners want to find you, how are they going to reach you?
Um, you could go to my they can go to my website at www.laquitamonley.com.
Okay.
You can Google my name, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Wow.
LinkedIn, as well as
Wow.
YouTube. So if you just go to
Wow.
Google and put in Laquita Monley, all things Laquita Monley will pop up.
Wow. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh,
So
thank you
this
for having
session,
me, sir.
we're wrapping up now. 52nd episode of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. We're so blessed and thankful to have Laquita Monley. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So till next time, this has been another great session. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.